Hi guys, Paul Serra here. Just wanted to do a little bit of introduction about myself. So I'm going to be doing a lot of vlogging, so you guys are going to get used to seeing me. Look, let's talk about myself a little bit. So, born and raised in Melbourne, Victoria. From a very young age, had a massive passion for IT and computers. Also, hobbies back then were racing go-karts. I was quite lucky to, rub shoulders with some of the now V8 supercar drivers that obviously race in the Australian series. It was a really good, way to be raised and grow up and meet people and probably learn a lot about cars and skills in general. So, look, that was a massive, way of helping myself mold as a child. But that whole time, I was racing go-karts. Had a massive passion for IT. It just, I think my dad bought my first computer when I was probably about 6, and I just fell in love with it. And when we're talking back then, that was in the 80s. People didn't have PCs at home in the 80s. And then obviously the internet came out, and very early adopter, and started playing with computers on a lot higher scale, and doing things that people probably didn't know existed, and playing around, learning, and taught myself a lot before I obviously got my first role. So I landed my first role in IT in 1999, November 1999, and I remember it exactly because I was still 17. I didn't have my license yet, and my brother was driving me to work for the first 2 or 3 weeks because my birthday is in November. So obviously I turned 18 in November 1999. But so that job got me into the industry in a professional level. And look, in all honesty, it was bread and butter for me because it was stuff that I was already doing from 12, 13 years old. It was more now on a corporate scale. So that led me to work for multinational and global companies, and with that I was made redundant. A part of being made redundant, I then invested that money into my own businesses. So what I've got Next Gen Digital, which is a digital agency, includes IT consultancy as well. I have Radio Life, which you can definitely see on the hoodie. Look, I'll try not to wear too many hoodies. It's winter at the moment, it's really cold, so just bear with me with that. But obviously, Radio Life is another business which is more around merchandising and events. Another event I'm doing is called No Excuses, which is a drag racing event. So, look, the fact that I'm an IT guy and I love things fast, you're going to see a little bit of everything. You're going to see technology, you're going to see, what I want to do is I want to bring value for businesses as well. I want people to look at these vlogs and go, oh wow, I learned something today. So, I want to talk about like Instagram engagement, something I want to touch on today, Facebook marketing and SEO and all that kind of stuff. But I also want to show some fun stuff as well around cars. So this is my Calais Turbo. I own Radio Life. I'm the owner of Radio Life. So we do automotive merchandise. As you can see, if you can see it, I'm wearing a t-shirt today. We do automotive merchandise, car events. So it's not just going to be work, it's going to be a bit of everything. So hopefully you guys engage and like it. So obviously cars being a hobby, IT being a hobby, it made sense to start a business that is IT because it's my hobby, and a business that is cars because, related to car or car people, because it's obviously a hobby as well. What I wanted to speak about was a little bit about Instagram. So we know Instagram has got 1 billion users, active users now. Look, I understand everyone's going to say, yeah, but I've got 5 accounts or 4 accounts or 20 accounts. Look, we all understand that. But I think people realized Facebook was massive, and really took advantage of that. But people weren't taking advantage of Instagram. Businesses have been doing that. They really have been taking, advantage of Instagram, organically and paid, obviously. But people I think there's a lot of companies out there that don't realize the value of Instagram and don't want to spend money. You know, I speak to customers all the time and they're like, why would I spend money with Instagram? I don't need Instagram. I don't need this. I don't need that. But the funny thing is that, you know, for example, you build a client's account into the thousands, you know, and straight away they come back to me and say, well, Paul, all my work's coming from Instagram. Like I'm you know, getting work from this. So these people that were skeptical, and we're talking about people that are tradesmen, people that are, you know, whatever industry it is, if they're seen on social media, you guys know about it. You guys know about it. You guys are going to buy, or whoever's going to buy. You know, their business is going to grow. And this is what I kept trying to say to them. If, you know, it doesn't hurt to go that little step extra. We all know the business has been around for 100 years that everyone knows the name of. We all know that. But at the end of the day, what about these new businesses? How are they going to market? What's their point of difference? How are they going to get into the market? So that's where I think Instagram is quite crucial. So yes, obviously we know everyone has multiple accounts. A lot of people have multiple accounts, and that's fine. But if we are talking about $1 billion, you know, a billion accounts, yes, it's quite a lot. So I think one thing I wanted to talk about was finding user engagement. A lot of people talk about influencers, but one thing people don't realize is just because someone has 100,000 followers, engagement is everything. You know, if they've got 100,000 followers and they've got no engagement, they're not getting likes, it's very obvious that, you know, some tactics may have been put into place where they could have bought followers. And, you know, guys, I highly urge you to not buy followers. Anyone who's giving you advice to buy followers, go somewhere else. Seriously, because that's not a way to grow an audience. What happens is you buy followers. To the naked eye, they're like, oh wow, this account has, you know, 20,000 users. They must be liked and respected. But then you look at the photos, 20 likes, 30 likes, 100 likes. Yes, we all know you can buy likes too. Okay, that's fine. One thing you can't buy is genuine engagement. Genuine engagement. So, well, look, I'm sure there's ways to buy it. But anyway, I mean, you can obviously through paid ads. But, you know, what I'm trying to say is that you can't force an account to have genuine engagement if there's no creativity or if there is no genuine audience. And that's something I want to touch base on. A lot of people say, yeah, but I've got 20,000 followers, so, you know, give me a free hoodie. You know, and look, that's not going to happen. And, you know, we look there and we break down their engagement and we're like, guys, you know, you may have, you know, 6% engagement on your photos. By the way, I'll talk about how we can look at that. You might have 6% engagement on your photos, but I've gone to a couple of your photos and it's just people saying hi, or it's clearly bots. So what you want to look for is, yes, you want to look for higher engagement. So that is obviously very important, high engagement. But you want to make sure that when you find someone with high engagement, it is demographically, you know, in the right location for your clients. I mean, you know, for example, if we're selling services in Australia, we don't want to, you know, someone who's got followers purely in India, obviously, because they're not going to buy our services. Or it's not even about buying services, it's about building a brand. There's no point to build a brand to an audience that does not care. Let's build it to the audience that actually does care and is going to add value. So yes, if you do want to hit an Indian audience, then go for it. But, you know, if you're thinking, I want an Australian audience or an American audience or a Russian audience, whatever that may be, then we need to look at the accounts that have the followers that look geographically there. So there's a couple of ways to do this. There is a tool, Instagram Engagement Calculator. Look, I'm not going to tell you the exact website to go to, but you can Google it and find it. In that situation, chuck the person's handle in, you know, at Gas747, for example, which is mine. Look up their engagement. You'll be able to see what the engagement is. Then what you can do is just say you want to use someone as an influencer. You can say, all right, show me a breakdown of your audience. You know, if they don't have it set as a business account, then that's not going to help. But, you know, most people that are influencers or doing that kind of stuff do have it set as a business account. So then what you can do is ask for the demographics. Look, where's your audience? So then you can see, you know, Australia, America, or whatever you need to see. You know, red flags is if you see Brazil really high or India really high, and then you see like Australia, for example, if it's Australian influencer really low, you know you've probably got some bought followers there, or maybe they've bought the account, or maybe they've, you know, targeted a different audience. I don't know, this is just an example, but, you know, if you saw, you know, really high engagement with Australia and USA and many of your markets, you know, go for it. I've seen way too many people spend money on influencers and get no value. These people do not have the right audiences or do not have the right followers. So I think this whole influencer thing is you know, it's a bit of a buzzword, because like it's pretty hard to control, because everyone keeps saying, oh, I'm an influencer, oh, I'm an influencer, I've done this, I've done that. But in reality, who's an influencer, in my opinion, is someone who can genuinely engage an audience of the same and opposite sex. I mean, if it's a girl and they're only engaging guys, I mean, that's great for a product that's aimed at guys, but what about products that are aimed at girls too? A female that can have a female and male audience is quite impressive. Obviously, again, for a male, if you can get both sexes in the audiences, I think you're doing quite well. So there's some things to look for. So, just to recap, we'll talk about the audience, talk about the demographics, age ranges, all that kind of stuff make a difference. And, obviously where pinpoint a little bit more, check the photos, make sure they are legit and there are comments coming in that actually are from legit people and, people in the right demographic. So look, I do want to touch on topics more like around this, and I'm hoping that this helps you. Business owners out there keep saying, how do I do this? How do I do it cheap? How do I do it free? And you can do it cheap and free. Don't get me wrong. There is going to be times where you're going to want to do a paid ad or, do that kind of stuff. That's fine. We all know that's going to happen. But if you don't have Instagram, if you don't have Facebook, if you don't have those mediums, your competitors do, they're going to leg up on you. So, if you've got a competitor and you're an Australian company and they've got 50,000 people in their audience and they're engaging with their audience and you've got no Instagram or no Facebook, they're going to get more business purely from the fact that people know who they are. And when people know and they see what people are saying, they're going to trust your brand, they're going to understand your brand, and they're going to like your brand. That's the important thing. Like we're creatures of nature. We like who people like and people trust, and people, if your good mate comes to you and says, hey, I've got this mate, John, he's an amazing guy, he's a great guy, trust him, use him, but you're like, oh, I was going to use this other guy down the road that I thought that I might like, and no, use John, John's great, you're going to go off a friend referral because you're like, well, John's great, everyone's told me John's great, so I trust the guy, I don't know who these people are, I don't know them. It's the same kind of thing. Instagram is saying, hey, look what we've got here. Obviously not Instagram themselves, but these people on Instagram and the client feedback, or the, just the interaction with people of, giving good comments. Obviously, if it was a lot of negative comments, you'd kind of look at that. So these are things I want to talk about. I wanted to ask you guys, what do you want to see? So, look, I've got a lot of skills in a lot of these areas, IT, digital marketing, all that entrepreneurship, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about everything. But what I want is some comments about what you guys want to see. Inbox me, jump on my website, paulserra.com, send me an email, whatever it is. Tell me what you want to see. What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start building these vlog videos. I'm going to draw them all out. I'm going to capture what you guys want to see. So, if you guys are telling me the same thing, I want to see it, we'll make it happen. Whatever it is, tell me, I'll do it. No, obviously not stupid stuff, like business and obviously my hobbies and stuff like that. So these are stuff that, I want to show, but I also want to know what you want to see. So make sure you reach out to me. You know a little bit more about who I am now. You'll be seeing a lot more of these vlogs. Subscribe, get your friends to subscribe. Obviously a bigger audience for us means we can give more content. So, I just really wanted to thank everyone's time today for, listening to me, and hopefully I didn't ramble too much and brought a little bit of value to you guys, and believe me, there'll be a lot more where that come from. So thanks for your time, guys, and we'll see you soon.